right, next story to get into. 3 billionaires came out of nowhere supporting Trump, okay? So first of all, Home Depot founder Bernie Marcus issues battle cry to GOP, unite behind Trump. Billionaire John Paulson to hold megadonor fundraiser for Donald Trump, okay? Nelson Peltz, from the guy that's trying to get a board seat on Disney, or he has one or something's going on. He's a very powerful guy, to vote for Donald Trump over fears of Joe Biden's mental condition. Back to back to back. I think all these announcements were on the same exact day. Do you think this is going to be a trend of more people, Tom, coming out publicly supporting Trump against Biden?
Absolutely. I think what's happening now is the primaries are over, and the primary is a time where we can come together with a variety of candidates, such as DeSantis put himself out there, ran a campaign. Nikki Haley ran a campaign. A lot of people ran a campaign. Doug ran a campaign, you know, the guy that we met out there, you know. And,
Doug with the big eyebrows. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And who, you know, was up there campaigning, even though he had, I guess, did an ACL or something. He got really hurt. But all that time of inspection is done. Life is about to get effing serious, and so people are coming out. We're come to the election. We know who the two guys are. No, Trump didn't get held back or use these legal techniques to disqualify him. He wasn't held back. He's still here. That was part of the calculus that was in the Haley camp. Absolutely, it was a little piece of the calculus that was in the DeSantis camp, to be fair, that, hey, he may not even make it there. And so now they're coming out. Bernie Marcus is out. John Paulson's out. Nelson Peltz is out. And they're all out. And I think you're going to see more of this PBD. As the election gets closer, it's getting real. People are looking at what really matters. They're looking at who the real candidates are. And they're voting with their wallets because it's time for them to stand up and take a stand.
And guess what? Their attitude, we talked about this earlier. You know what Bernie Marcus, John Paulson, and Nelson Peltz have in common? They're all Jewish. And they're all like, let's fucking go. You guys want to have an attitude? You want Chuck Schumer to go over there and talk shit about Israel? Guess what? Now the money. You talked about the vote, Dave. Now, guess what? The money's going for Trump.
So I don't know. I know Marcus from Home Depot. I don't know this Nelson Peltz guy. But the point on the mental condition, I mean, does anyone at this table believe that Joe Biden is running the country? Do you believe that the ideas that come out of this administration and the final calls, a man who not only fumbles everything he says and can't read a teleprompter and slurs literally every single sentence that he says, and yes, they can pump him up with some stuff and get him to be semi-functional at certain hours of the day. Do you think he's actually the same guy who also often at the end of press conferences says, oh, I'm not supposed to say that, or I'm going to get in trouble if I say that? Yeah. Does anyone here honestly believe yes, I believe he is the president, meaning his name is on the desk. Yeah. But does anyone actually believe that what is happening with this country is being driven by a cogent Joe Biden?
Absolutely not.
And I don't think I don't even think you can get. I would recommend go try to get 5 Democrats, legit Democrats, that will honestly put their name to that, and you barely can find anybody.
Can I give you a scary answer?
You can talk about that, but I mean, that's not really the question. The question is what's going on with with these billionaires, and regardless of who's there, Dave, and I agree, I think there's a shadow behind him that's pulling the levers, but regardless of who's there, these guys don't want it, and they're all unifying there. It's it's time. It's time to vote. It's time to get serious. Time to take a side.
Well, the reason I mention it, though, is because I think if he wasn't so obviously broken down, if he wasn't so obviously not Joe Biden of 20 years ago, I don't know that everyone would get there. I think people are like, oh, it's not just that the policies are freaking horrible and the border is open and Bidenomics makes no sense and everything else. It's also that he gets up there and there's no confidence. You watch him. I'm sure all of you guys have had relatives with dementia. My grandmother had it, and when I was doing stand-up in New York, my days were a little free because I was working at night. So I would take her to the elder care doctors and the geriatric doctors. His behavior is exactly the same. And you know that thing when they start talking and you're just waiting for them to get to the end of the sentence. And you're just praying that they get there because you don't want to have to, oh, grandma, you lost it, or blah, blah, blah. It's like we're all doing that with this guy and pretending that we're not doing it. And the media's running cover. You saw that Chuck Scarborough clip where he said he's sharper than ever. Yeah, it's like, what do they have on you, dude? Yeah. What do they have on you?
And they're chanting 4 more years. Yeah. 4 more. Well, I'll give you something even scarier because I think there's a lot of people out there that would agree with you that are basically saying there's no way he's running this country. That's crazy. He's probably got a team of handlers. number one, we learned during the State of the Union address, when you set the bar so low that he can't even tie his shoes, he can't tie two sentences together, when he gets out there and basically yells at everybody for an hour and a half, it sort of lessens the argument that he's not capable of doing that. But here's what I'll give you, because we were all sitting there at lunch. I won't say the name. We were sitting there at lunch, and he said, you want to know what's even scarier? I'm one phone call away from the guy that's basically running the show within the Biden administration. The scariest thing is that it's actually him making the decision. So you would think otherwise. There's other people making decisions. He basically made this a very credible source here. You were there. Basically said, no. It's actually him making the decisions. That might be even scarier.
That actually is even scarier. But this thing where he gets to the end of these press conferences and he says, "Oh, if I say that, I'm in trouble."
They told me no.
Pat, your name's all over this place. You're in charge of this operation. If you were to flub something during the show, do you get in trouble with somebody? Do they take you out back and hit you over the head with a shovel? Or are you actually in charge of this place?
I mean, you can see the big teleprompter in front of me in the big font. I have to read that.
Yeah.
They don't type that up there. I don't.
Exactly.
I have to follow
we have
the
to give you
rules.
names of the Irish people that to remember the names, remember to thank people.
He's my English tutor on this side.
Yeah. Amid these certain problems. For years, I've been working on this.
And Dave, going off what you said, the fact that, and I'm 100% agree with you, no doubt, when he says the they and the them and I can't and they, and that's why I think they all had to go after Trump, because that Trump didn't need did Trump ever go, hey guys, I got to get off the stage for 2 hours because they told me I got to get off?
Right.
Never. It's him.
Look, how many of you have had dogs that have passed away while you've had the dog, right? We've all, most people have been through that. You know, at the end, you can do an awful lot of stuff to keep that animal alive.
Yeah.
And you can drug them with all sorts of stuff. And we did that with my dog, who was 16 years old. And basically they said to us, the vet said, you can give her these medications, but basically it'll extend it a little bit. And then at some point, her insides are just going to explode. Like the organs will literally. And it seems to me they are juicing him to get him out there and be functional. And they are just praying it gets to November 5th. They are just praying, because they have contingency plans, obviously, right? I mean, they're not running Kamala, obviously. The Gavin thing, you may say the whole DeSantis thing was a disaster, but if DeSantis did one good thing in the entire campaign, he basically destroyed Gavin Newsom. We don't hear about Gavin anymore because that debate was so absolutely a win for DeSantis. But you know that there are plans for, he could break a hip while we are doing this show right now. Most people fall down the stairs. He seems to fall upstairs. Like that could happen right now. Anything could happen.
Dave, here's where I'm going to disagree with you, man.
We're one flight of stairs.
Here's where I'm going to disagree
Harris.
with my friend Dave. You're talking about the DeSantis Newsom debate.
Yeah.
From a policy standpoint, it was not even a question that DeSantis won. But if you poll the general people that don't know shit about policy, they're going to take a look at slick back hair Newsom and think that he won. I mean,
we haven't heard much of him since then.
Oh, what do you mean? He's been doing interview after interview. He's out there. I'm not going to.
It's old story. I don't want to do that. Newsom.
But
DeSantis
I'll say
thing.
this about Biden.
Yeah.
We're using the pronouns things. They, them. If they and them actually had that much control, he wouldn't be running again. Meaning, unfortunately or fortunately, he's running because he made the decision as a sitting president of the United States, I'm running again. So if there was people, the coddlers, the handlers, that were really argument. In control, he would have been dismissed.
Well, I think it's partly because they made a deal with the devil by bringing Kamala on, who was basically polling at 0 at that point. Yes. So they made a deal with the devil. Okay, we're going to get Biden to be president and pray that it gets that far. And Biden, one of the other things is when you're in cognitive decline, you don't know it necessarily. So he may not be fully aware. So I'm not saying he didn't make the decision. I believe that I assume there's a document they have to sign saying they're running again, or file.
Blood up.
Whatever they have to do, eat a child, whatever. I'm not saying he didn't do that. I'm not saying he didn't do that. But the idea that he's the driving force behind the ideas of the administration. And I think in many ways he's a perfect avatar for what America has become. We're confused. We don't know what we are. We don't stand for anything. And
let's go to the next story. Let's go to the next story. So we do have a solution with all the stuff that's going on, because we can sit here and stress out about this, but if President Biden's watching this right now, this next testimony we have of Neuralink, what it did for a patient, if President Biden would be willing to put the Neuralink, and Rob, if you don't mind just showing a part of this so the audience sees the power This thing's got 15 million views right now. Rob, go ahead and play this clip. So I'm sure you're trying to find the right place to go to. Vinny, do you know where's the right place to go to? Rob, do you have it? You have it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right
go
when he's
ahead.
controlling the chess game with his mind.
He's controlling
his brain.
the chess game with his mind. Go ahead, Rob.
He is a long-term quadriplegic.
Here. Do you want to explain a little bit what's going on here?
Yeah, so I love playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do, something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all.
That's all him.
Cool, huh?
Wow.
You know, what if he started having dirty thoughts and porn just starts coming up on his computer? It's like, no. I don't stop thinking of porn. I mean, dude, but here's the slippery slope. This is cool. God bless him. He's a quadriplegic. He could play chess with his mind. But bro, now that somebody can control what you're thinking, and like that's a scary, slippery slope. That whoever's in control of that Neuralink, if he's not a quadriplegic, you're just trying to enhance your life, says, hey, go and kill such and such, and you're like, oh my god, I don't even want to do it, but you just do it.
Tom,
where's that?
What do you think about this? Because I think there's a part of you that's optimistic that this kind of technology is not available for certain groups of people.
I think this is phenomenal. I mean, let's use a real world example. Suppose this is a high functioning engineer who has a car accident and unfortunately ends up like this. His brain, his education, his experience wants to be a productive member of society. And Elon Musk has given him an opportunity to come back and be that and support his family and to return to a certain level of productivity. If not, we don't know where this goes. Could this lead to, mobility? Well, we're talking about brain, not, repairing, the spinal column. But I think this is fabulous that someone like Elon Musk has got the vision to make it happen. Anything good can be used for bad. Guns can be used to defend your home, and then bad people can rob a liquor store. But I think this is phenomenal, and I think it's wonderful.
Dave, are you in the same sentiment as Tom?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, it's so funny because we can talk about fighting over politics all the time, or whether boys or girls, or whether we should allow cannibals into the country. And it's like, look what humans actually can do. If we could get through the BS for one moment, not only can we, in essence, now, this is telepathy now in real time, right? Using technology. But we could also, as Elon talks about, we could go to Mars. We could go to other galaxies. And we will, by the way. We will get through this technological adolescence that we're in, and we're going to do incredible things. This is a marker. This is a moment. I think everyone will remember or look back on this moment, seeing this, going, wow, this is the thing we're about to unlock. And if we could only get through all of the BS of constantly trying to destroy everything that we know to be good. And guess what? To just add it to the stuff that we're always talking about, it's like, who cares if the engineers who built this were gay or black or trans or anything else?
Good point.
You think Elon was like, can I get a black trans woman to build me this telepathy machine? Or do you think he said, can I get the best fucking engineers in the history of the world to break every barrier that humans could have ever known? And that's why we have to get through. That's why woke has been so dangerous, because it eliminates the ability to do things like that.
Great point. I'll just shout out to Elon Musk. I wonder if that the haters will now be silenced for this great deed he's doing for people who are completely disabled, completely have major health issues. It's easy to criticize Elon Musk when he basically takes over Twitter or X, and it's now this right-wing platform. It's a free speech platform. If you don't have a Tesla, you can't really appreciate Tesla as much. If he's doing things in rockets in the sky going to Mars, this is actually changing people's lives for the better. I wonder if his haters will step up and congratulate him.
But he could have had a black trans lesbian.
I can't believe they missed a shot. Yeah.